Hey guys, this is Juan with the Cine-Men Movie Podcast. Letting you know that this episode is brought to you by San Marcos Mexican Restaurant, located at 2301 Southwest 59th Street in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Give them a call at 405-685-7773 for a to-go order, or dine in and experience the best Mexican food in the OKC metro area. Also, don't forget $5 house margaritas on Wednesdays on the rocks or frozen. And don't forget to let Abel know that the Cine-Men Movie Podcast sent you and get 10% off of your order. They also have $2 tequila shots. Again, it's the only dine-in restaurant of the Cine-Men Movie Podcast.
You like that, old man? You want a piece of me?
Do I feel lucky? Well, do you, punk?
Good morning, Vietnam! I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
I feel the need for speed.
I wish I knew how to quit you.
Love means never having to say you're sorry.
You do? You shoot your eye out, kid.
I answered. And don't call me Shirley.
There's no crying in baseball.
This is wrong, bitch.
Hey, the Schwartz baby.
I am the father.
At you, my pretty.
Take your stinking paws off me.
May the force be with you.
Here's Johnny.
Victorious, champagne pouring over us. All my friends were glorious. Tonight we are
Victorious.
Happy Monday, moviegoers. Welcome to episode 197. Welcome to Jurassic World Dominion. And welcome to the Cine-Men Movie Podcast. I am your host, Juan, and I am joined by the cast, the crew, the good fellas. Craig.
Yo.
Zacchaeus.
What up?
Eduardo.
Hey, you guys.
That'd make me want to cry too. Welcome, guys. Another new fun episode here at the Cine-Men Movie Podcast, as we are getting ready to talk Jurassic World Dominion. Just hit theaters this past Friday, but we got a jam-packed show, guys. We're talking. We got a new top 5 we're going to unleash. We're talking some of the great sponsors. Pardon the Pandemic is returning today, as we're talking to Andrew from CDR Electronics. We got some fun movie news to go over. And then, guys, we went and had some fun this past weekend at Dead Center Film Festival, which we'll get into a little bit later on. But if you guys have not listened to last week's episode, last week we listened to Goodfellas right here on the episode, and we watched Goodfellas, and we reviewed and talked all about Goodfellas. You guys can HBO Max it up. Go check out HBO Max for the Goodfellas. Zach, last Thursday, me, you, and Nick concluded the road to Jurassic World Dominion as we talked about Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. It was a pretty fun conversation. The end of the bonus episodes for at least 2 more weeks. What'd you think, Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom?
Well, we'll get into it with this new one that we're going to talk about.
But if you guys want to go back and listen to that episode, you can, in any episode in the archives, wherever you listen to podcasts. Anchor, Spotify, Podbean, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Amazon Music, TuneIn, Stitcher, Deezer, and now Prescribed Films Network. You can find us on Apple Podcasts on Tuesdays through Prescribed Films and the Prescribed Films Network. So yeah, we're going to get ready to get into it. Man, I was so excited about talking about Jurassic World and this past weekend. How's everybody been? Zach, you have a good weekend?
I did, yeah. Hanging out with you guys at Dead Center and seeing Jurassic World, so.
Craig, you have a good weekend?
I had a fantastic weekend.
Fantastic.
Just kind of going back to last Monday, which I was not here because I had strep.
Strep's going around.
Fine.
It is going around. Yeah, there's a
I
lot
know
of
like
people
3
with-
other people that had strep.
But Oklahoma Sooners, women's softball champions, again, back to back. OU and Texas made it to the College World Series in Omaha. So, and then I hung out with the boys. That's always a good time.
The guys, the good fellas. Edward, you have a good weekend?
I mean, it was alright.
Is that right?
Nah, yeah, it was a great weekend. Honestly, had a lot of fun with all of that. With DCFF, man, finally got the wife to start the prequels. We finished the originals, so yeah.
Like I said, you guys can find us on the Prescribed Films Network, www.prescribedfilms.com, and you guys can check us out all there, and along with a lot of other great podcasts. Social media has been blowing it up, guys. You guys can follow us on the social media, facebook.com/The Cinnamon Movie Podcast. The Instagram is all one word, The Cinnamon Movie Podcast, and then the Twitter is at Cinnamon405. You can win right now. It's still up. It's still live. Go win a free digital copy of The Northman. It's up there. All you got to do is like, subscribe, and share, and then comment, tag your movie buddy, and there you can win a free digital copy of The Northman. Last week's episode on The Goodfellas, we also did talk to the director of PR for Dead Center. We talked to Crystal last week. We also talked to Mike, co-founder of OKC Soda. So go back and listen to last week's episode. If you haven't, I highly recommend it. We got a lot of good praise on that episode. This week, like I said, though, we are going to talk to good old Andrew from CDR Electronics. All right, guys. Not a lot going on in some entertainment movie news, but I thought I'd bring these subject matters up to you guys. And if you guys want to, talk about them or testify, go ahead and say your piece. Spider-Man Extended Girthy Edition is coming out Labor Day weekend. What do you guys think? You think there's going to be any surprises, or technically it is just the deleted scenes mixed into the movie?
I doubt they'll add anything super new, like added to it. I think it'll all just be kind of stuff that was stuck in there that they deleted. And I mean, it was already almost 3 hours long.
Anybody going to go see it?
I probably will.
No.
Edward?
Probably not.
This is interesting. It could be good or bad news, but in Atlanta this week, they are doing 2 weeks worth of reshoots for Halloween Ends. Give or take, could be good news, could be bad news. Anybody have any thoughts on that? Reshoots, Halloween Ends. It comes out in just a few more
hopefully it's
months.
Good. Hopefully it's good signs.
Just because a movie has reshoots doesn't mean it's bad. A lot of movies go through reshoots. It's just, if it's like a month before it's supposed to come out, then maybe we have a problem.
Plus, I mean, it's also a good thing maybe because when they were filming Halloween Ends and Halloween Kills back to back, it was in the middle of a pandemic.
Yeah.
So maybe they needed to go back and get some shots that were maybe not open to the public then.
Right.
I shared the poster. It was a fan-made poster over the weekend, and I shared it on the Facebook page. Scream 6 is being filmed and is currently all about New York City. I guess during a scene where they are talking about a news station about some of the killings, there's a New York City news van, plus every single car that was in the shot had the New York City nameplate on it. What do you guys think? They're dropping Sidney Prescott. They're completely going now to a new, nowhere close to Woodsboro, nowhere near California during the colleges during Scream 2. Brand new location. You think it could be? I think it's going to be a breath of fresh air for the Scream franchise.
Brilliant. I really do. Because I mean, if they couldn't get her, then hey, why not go ahead and make it something a bit different, copycat or whatever in a different location, go from there.
I'll watch it. I have no speculations on my end.
Zach?
Sure, Scream 6, why not?
You like the fifth one?
Thought it was fine.
Oh, now it's just fine.
Like 6 months removed away from it.
I'd never seen the first season, but Squid Game season 2 is a go for Netflix. It's officially in pre-production.
Did you watch the first season, Ed?
Yep, all of it.
It's a green light is how they put it.
Red light,
green light,
green light.
Well, because there's a game, red light, green light. So they said it's green light. Yeah. But yeah, no, the guy said it took 12 years to get to the point to where it was
from him starting to write it to actually on Netflix.
So it took 12 years for it from writing to get on Netflix, and then it took 12 days to be the #1 show on Netflix.
Which that's pretty damn cool,
Pretty cool, pretty quick.
On the 12th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me.
A card for the Squid Games, apparently.
This is fun. I just thought I would bring this up because we are talking Jurassic Park today. Slasher Film website has the top 15 best Jeff Goldblum movies. Yeah. Number 1 is Jurassic Park, and unfortunately, number 3 is something else. Number 2 is The Fly, and number 4 is Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Thor Ragnarok.
I knew the
Not on
Fly
the
would
list.
be on there.
Independence Day.
That might have been, yeah, that was number 3. Yeah. Which,
Good job, Zach.
yeah, which we're just a few weeks away, guys. Episode 200, Independence Day, live on the 4th of July, Monday night. Interesting.
Raw like Monday night.
Live. And then we did visit Dead Center, which is an Oklahoma local film festival, and it is an Oscar supported film festival. Zach, tell everybody out there what that means. It means that every single movie that is debuting at this film festival now has a chance to get in the Oscar category.
Yeah, whether it be a feature film, a documentary, a short film, animated short film. Basically, there's a process to the whole situation, but I mean, if it's good enough and it has the support that it needs, hell, this time next year it could be the newest best animated short, best animated live action film. Who knows? We saw a feature film. I don't know if you guys, after me and Ed left, if you saw something else or not, but
We did not.
the things that we saw, they were interesting, and the fact that they were all filmed here in Oklahoma, it's awesome. So
Even, name dropping certain towns and certain things that, Oklahoma has, games and stuff like that. That was pretty cool to see. As well as, most of the actors being there. So.
And speaking of, next week we continue our Pardon the Pandemic as we talk to local actress, director Kate Jones. She'll be on the episode next week. She is a writer, director, and starring in her film Chicken House, which is now available on the podcast site on our Facebook page, facebook.com/the Cine-Men Movie Podcast. I shared a link. The link is on the podcast page. You can click that link and you can watch it. It's $10, and you have until the 20th to watch it. So you can stream Chicken House now directly in your house. And yeah, watch. I encourage all the listeners, go ahead and watch it. And if you guys have any questions for it all, just send them an email, and I'll do the email back with her on the phone, and you guys can get your emails read by or answered by Kate. So next week, right here on the Cine-Men Movie Podcast, Kate Jones, June 20th, when we talk and review Hustle. All right, guys. Now we got some facts by Zax.
So Joseph Mazzello and Ariana Richards, who played Kim and Tim and what was the little girl's name?
Ellie.
Macy?
Ellie. Yeah.
Oh.
Stated they would be open to returning for the film should they be asked to pop in for a cameo. Sam Neill has often said that Dr. Green would have long since retired by now, but maybe the threat of dinosaurs back on American soil would force him to reconsider that. Colin Trevorrow described wanting this third film to be totally, as quote, a science thriller, more in line with Michael Crichton's novel. And Jurassic World was released 29 years since Jurassic Park, 25 years since The Lost World, 21 years since Jurassic Park 3, 7 years since Jurassic World, and 4 years since Fallen Kingdom.
Nice. And those are your facts by Zacchaeus. All right, guys, let's get into some recent watches. Every week, usually we talk about some recent watches, recommendations, and this little conversation piece that we've debuted years ago has turned some of the conversation pieces into episodes. Edward, what about you? Do you have anything that you want to talk about?
Yeah. Basically, we
Sorry, we forgot about you.
Yeah, I know you did. It's cool. Most people do. We have been at home watching Star Wars. I finally got the spouse to.
Oh, okay. Well, okay, that makes sense. You said we. I was like, is there a fucking parrot on your shoulder or
I
something?
mean, big sexy's on my shoulder, Uh, but now we've watched number 4, 5, 6, as well as 1.
Wait,
now.
you said that last week.
No.
He told us
We-
at the film festival.
Word, but yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's all I was just like.
Wee.
But as well as caught up with Kenobi, and then the DCFF this weekend. So yeah, sure we're gonna all have at least 2 films that we all have in common.
Craig, you check anything out this past weekend that you enjoyed?
I I started watching Shoresy, the Hulu original. I'm not gonna be like Ed and start going into things about it.
Develop the entire tagline right here.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. It's not something that I can continuously watch and binge. I find myself getting bored after like the 3rd episode, but it's funny if you're like fresh getting into it and kind of watching it fresh every other day. Like I said, been watching plenty of College World Series baseball. Don't really care for baseball, but like OU and Texas, they're pretty solid this year. So I figured I'd watch it and
Support the home team.
support the home team. Watched softball World Series last week. Obviously went to the DCFF with these guys. Saw a bunch of short films. Saw Chicken House, and watched Happy Gilmore over the weekend, and just a bunch of like small little TV shows and whatnot with the daughter. So that was my weekend.
You recommend anything?
Would I recommend anything? Give Stranger Things a rewatch. I didn't mention that, but I'm still on my rewatch. Stranger Things rewatch. Just a solid series all around. If you haven't watched it, if you've never had the will or want to, give it a shot, man. It's a good solid series.
I have been. I'm not putting in the numbers like I usually do, but nonetheless, I did get to check out Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom for the bonus episode. Go back and listen to my complaint about that movie. Jurassic World Dominion on Friday night. I did check out episode 4 of Obi-Wan. I think it's a solid episode. I won't get into too much spoiler territory, but I do think that it doesn't know what to do with itself.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah.
Episode 1 and 2 were a little slow. Felt like it was not necessary. Episode 3 picked up, and you're like, okay, I can see this going somewhere. This is what I want. This is the meat and potatoes of this story. And then episode 4 was just like
Kind of falls back into 1 and 2 territory.
pulling it back and let me just reintroduce some other characters. And again, this show is turning into exactly what I feared, and that you're not getting as much Obi-Wan and as much Vader as you want, but let me introduce a whole mess of other characters, and let me stir the pot, and let me perhaps make another spinoff of another spinoff. Not interested. And then I rewatched The Northman, which was a better rewatch, honestly. I think the first time I went into it, it was just maybe it felt long, but this time around, I knew everything going in, so it went by a lot faster. What I have to recommend and what I really, really enjoyed was Miss Marvel. I don't know if anybody's seen episode 1.
I've heard good things about it.
Yes. I forgot about that.
Yeah,
I 100% agree with you.
It was really, really good, and
Is there 1 or 2 episodes?
there's 1 episode out.
Okay.
But the tone, the soundtrack, the score, the story, the acting,
I've heard it's like a fresh take on Marvel.
real fresh.
It was kind of cheesy, which is what I didn't want it to be.
But she's a teenage girl.
But the way they made it cheesy is completely 100% acceptable.
Right.
It's very cultural for the Pakistani, I think is what she is, for that group and region. I think it's very well represented.
But it also opens up the doors for a relationship with the Eternals.
Yes.
It opens up the relationship with, hey, let's cast somebody else, not as Captain Marvel, but it floats the idea of anybody can be Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
Kind of.
And you kind of did the whole thing with Obi-Wan where it's not what you wanted it to be, and it's kind of doing other things.
Miss Marvel's the opposite.
This is exactly what these TV shows are supposed to be bringing to the table, and I 100% agree with you. I turned it on thinking it was just going to be one of those sit on my phone, not care for it, and I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Exactly. I didn't think I was going to enjoy Miss Marvel more than Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
But if I had to recommend anything, I would recommend The Northman is currently streaming on the Peacock, Miss Marvel, and even though I'm a little disappointed with Obi-Wan, all that is streaming on Disney+. So go check that out. Like I said, I didn't have a girthy rewatch list this week, but it's a good thing. Zach, what about you? You recommend anything?
Yeah, outside of Dead Center with you guys, I'm just trying to get caught up on some of the movies I missed earlier in the year. Moonfall. I don't know why I wasted my 2 hours of my life doing that, but whatever.
I told you. So
Yeah.
you have nobody to blame but yourself, sir.
Hey, I gave it a 3. You gave it a 4, so you like it a little bit more than me.
Halle Berry is in it.
I don't care. Jurassic World Dominion, we'll get into a little bit. Hustle.
Oh,
next
boy.
week's episode. Next week's
Save your
episode.
thoughts. Shh, don't say it. All you gotta say is the Adam Sandler is in it, okay?
And Uncharted.
What'd you think? It's fine.
Did you play the video games first?
I played 1 or 2 of them. Yeah, it doesn't feel like Uncharted. I kind of agree with you, Johnny. It just feels kind of like a
Updated Indiana Jones movie.
Yeah,
I
like
don't
a
think
prequel or something like
Yeah.
that. And it just didn't. Tom Holland. I mean, I like Tom Holland, but he just didn't fit that role at all.
He was Tom Holland.
Yeah.
when you do something like that, I think you need to put somebody in there that's not so
Well known.
not well known, but just somebody who's not so seasoned. I think
Yeah.
somebody a little bit better seasoned, more seasoned needs to be in that role.
I think Nathan Fillion should have been
Yeah.
cast.
He looks like that character.
I don't know who that is.
That's who it's based
Who's it?
on.
Yeah.
He's
a Castle. You know the TV show Castle?
No.
Gee,
What else is he in?
broaden your horizons.
What else is he in?
Wasn't he in Firefly?
I don't know.
Who cares? But anyway, yeah, don't.
When you
just
see
watch-
when you see his face, you'll know exactly who Nathan Fillion.
Yeah, just watch Hustle for next week's episode. That's all I gotta say.
Next week, Hustle. Anybody else seen Hustle, or is Zach the only one?
I didn't know it was on, honestly.
Yeah.
I thought it came out this
Ed?
week.
I have not.
Some ground and dust not to gold, but you will remember me. Remember me for centuries. Just one mistake is all it
Hey guys, don't forget this episode is also brought to you by OKC Soda Company, the craft soda company of Oklahoma. Super unique flavors like strawberry shortcake and blueberry, made with pure cane sugar and all natural flavors. Go to your local grocery store, Homeland, Crest, and Pruitt Foods has your 6-packs of OKC Soda Company. You can also visit the website okcsodacompany.com. It's the only beverage of the Cine-Men movie podcast.
This is for the match. The darkness that you felt. I never.
Hey guys, don't forget this Wednesday, June 15th, me, the bad guy Nick H., and Mr. Fuentes are talking the ABCs of Death on this edition of Friday the 14th podcast. It's my pick, so I hope everybody likes it. It's a unique film, 26 short films, 26 different directors, and every short film is based off of the letter of the alphabet. So they start with A and they end with Z. So go check it out. You can rent it for like $2.99 on YouTube TV, Vudu. But that's what we're talking about this Wednesday, June 15th, 8 p.m., Friday the 14th podcast. And then the following week, June 22nd, we are talking Saint Maud, another one of my picks, A24 films. So you know it's always fun whenever I get to talk about A24. So check it out on the social media, the YouTube page. Just search Friday the 14th podcast and listen to some fun guys talk about some fun horror movies every single Wednesday. All right, guys. This week's top five, we are talking our top five movies of 2022 that we still cannot wait for, or that are coming up that we are excited for. So before we get started, we're halfway done with the year. We've seen a lot of great movies
Crazy.
from January to June. What else are we looking forward to? So send us in that email. Let us know your top five. Let us know what you're still looking forward to for the rest of 2022. Does anybody have any honorable mentions? Zach?
Yeah, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, Amsterdam, which is David O. Russell's new movie with Christian Bale, Margot Robbie, and John David Washington. The Gray Man, the new Netflix movie with Ryan Gosling and Chris Evans, looks pretty cool, from the Russo brothers. And official honorable mention, Halloween Ends.
Nice. What a girthy honorable mentions list. Anybody else?
Yeah, I'll kind of read ones off the top of my head that I can think of. Creed 3, Halloween Ends. The Black Phone looks interesting with Ethan Hawke.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's one that I want to check out.
That comes out next week, I think.
Yeah, next week. And then the Elvis movie. That one seems to be getting my attention the more and more I see it. So.
Same with my list. It's short and sweet. Even though it's technically out, I haven't seen it yet. New A24 movie, Men, Elvis, and Black Phone. Ed, you have any?
Okay, John.
No honorable mentions, no.
5.
Number 5. Ed, let's start with you. What's number 5 for you?
Number 5, Minions: The Rise of Gru. Personally, the Minions, and then Despicable Me has just kind of been one of those kids movies that's just kind of funny and all that good stuff. So yeah, that's one thing I'm looking forward to. Minion-sized Gru seems like it'd kind of be funny. So yeah.
Number 5 for me is going to be Nope from Jordan Peele. Release date of July 22nd. Craig, what about you? Number 5?
Number 5 for me is also going to be Nope.
Nice. Zach, what about you?
Number 5 is a film, comes out in September, called Don't Worry, Darling. It's the new psychological thriller about a 1950s housewife whose reality begins to crack, revealing a disturbing truth underneath. Starring was one Miss Florence Pugh. I don't know if the trailer's out. It looks really interesting.
Listeners, I'm sorry we did not come as prepared as Zach did.
4.
Another Paul Dano we're going to have to watch.
5, 4, 2.
All right, guys. Edward, number 3 for you.
Number 3 for me, Thor: Love and Thunder. Definitely excited about this. Already know it's more than likely going to be good. Yeah. So simple as that.
Number 3 for me is going to be I Want to Dance with Somebody, with the release date of December 21st, 2022. I'm a huge fan of these musical biography picks, whether it be Bohemian Rhapsody. I think Elvis is going to be good. The Elton John movie was really fantastic. There's another one that just recently hit or came out, I think, too. The Doors, it's not recent, but The Doors is one of them. So seeing how harsh Whitney Houston's life is and was, I think that movie is going to be something special. And can't wait to go see it this December. So, Craig, number 3 for you?
Number 3 for me is going to be Black Panther. Wakanda Forever.
Zach, number 2 for you?
Number 3.
Number 3 for you?
Number 3.
Sorry, I'm excited.
Number 3 is a film that I had no expectation for, but the trailer just like this. If the trailer is any indication of what the movie could be, it's going to be awesome. It's Prey, the Hulu Predator movie.
Wow.
That one really jumped the list. So
I'm surprised that's on your list.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's cool that they're just taking Predator just to the 1700s. It's not in the city. We're just out in the wilderness with a Comanche tribe. It's just it looks cool.
It's like Predator meets Apocalypto.
Or the Revenant.
Yeah.
2.
Edward, number 2 for you.
Number 2 for me has to be Halloween Ends. Have loved this series for a long time, and for it to be supposedly the true end, we will see how it goes.
Number 2 for me is going to be Killers of the Flower Moon, Martin Scorsese's latest film. I think it's scheduled to hit theaters this November or December. Plus, it's another Leo movie. So anytime we get Leo on the podcast, we talk to him. But no, every time we do a Leo movie on the podcast, it's always a fun conversation. So it also stars, I think, Robert De Niro, Jesse Plemons. So it's gonna be a fun movie, I think, and I hope so. Plus, it's Martin Scorsese, but that's not my number 2. Craig, number 2 for you.
Number 2 for me is going to be a movie that I just bought my tickets to today. It's going to be Thor: Love and Thunder.
Nice.
So it's going to be. I think this one is going to really start to kickstart the MCU in the phase that's kind of going on. I think this will be the one. So
this will be the one. Zach, number 2 for you.
Number 2, it's already been mentioned, I think, by Craig. Creed 3. Really excited to see what Michael B. Jordan can do in the director's chair. And Jonathan Majors is the antagonist, so it should be really interesting.
1, 0.
Number 1, Ed, what is your most anticipated film still of 2022?
Honestly, kind of couldn't really pick either way. Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, and Nope, for that matter.
Oh, you got a tie, I see.
Really excited for both of them. I kind of want to see how they continue on with Black Panther and Chadwick Boseman legacy. And then Nope, just every time I see the trailer, just gets better and better and more interesting. So, yeah.
Number 1 for me is going to be Avatar, December 16th. I didn't think that it was going to be happening, when we did our this top 5, but in January of earlier this year. But you know what? Now that you've seen the trailer, it's real. You pinch yourself, and it's just all coming together. I think it's going to be an epic, and I think it's going to be nice to see something just completely blow us out of the water, no pun intended. That's not Marvel or DC or Star Wars.
It only took 16 years.
So, Craig, number 1 for you.
Number 1 for me comes out this Thursday. It's my man Buzz Lightyear.
A little too excited.
To infinity and beyond,
yeah,
motherfucker.
There's no.
Wow.
How
I'm just kidding.
overexcited for a movie that is molded my childhood? No, there's absolutely no reason to be overexcited for that.
You're gonna mold that scene, I promise you. You watching it in the Dolby?
I sure am.
Zach, number 1 for you, sir. Your most anticipated movie of the year is
Nope. Jordan Peele's.
No. Oh, Nope. Okay.
Yeah, Nope.
I thought you were like, nope, not answering.
No,
Yeah,
that was your-
Classified information, sir.
Yeah, Nope. I think I'm excited to see what Jordan Peele, his next feature-length film, is going to be. I think that first trailer, that's all you needed to watch. You don't need to watch the second one. It's just...
Did you watch the second one?
I have not. I'm trying to keep it a surprise, and I think if it's any indication of what the film could be, I think Jordan Peele might have something special planned. So,
well, hopefully, unless they tell us, unless it is what it is in the trailer, the new trailer that just came out. I mean, there's no surprises in it, unless.
I think everyone knows what it's going to be about. But
hopefully.
Yeah.
You think there's some hidden meaning behind?
There always is in this movie, so I don't know why this one wouldn't be.
Well,
It's going to be
of
people from
planet
the
Earth.
80s.
That's the acronym, yeah.
Watch it be him and Keegan-Michael Key.
I swear to God, I'd love that. Dude, that would be
Have a
legit.
Key and Peele episode inside of Nope.
Craig's going to be so excited that it's a reality.
But yeah, you guys share your top 5 with us. Let us know the top 5 movies that you are most interested in seeing for the rest of the year. There's all kinds of movies. We didn't even break the surfaces. A lot of our answers were the exact same of everybody else's in here. So
yeah, there's a lot of
we didn't break any ice. So there's still tons of independent films out there.
And, we name all these movies that are kind of like the bigger named movies, and I mean Zach kind of named a few that weren't as heard of, but there's going to be a few that are below the radar that come out and surprise everybody and during Oscar season and whatnot. So,
and if there's something you guys watch that we haven't mentioned or are looking forward to, please email us.
Email us. Where do they email us, Zach?
Cinemen405@gmail.com.
CINEMEN921 at gmail.com. That's good though. That's the Twitter. The Twitter is at Cinemen405. The email is CINEMEN921 at gmail.com. Send us all kinds of email, good, bad, ugly, or anything in between.
Is
right,
there
Ed?
is there a film that
Every time.
If you just want to talk trash to Ed, you can do that too.
is there a film that you guys are optimistically excited for, but you're kind of like hesitant about it?
No, come on, cuh.
Black Adam, Thor,
Black Adam.
I would say Black
Panther.
number one.
I didn't name any Marvel or DC movies.
I think optimistically looking at a film like Elvis looks good,
Yeah.
but I think I think it's going to be a lot better than
What people say it
what
is.
people. Yeah, I think it's
Yeah.
going to be one of the ones that kind of sneak up on you.
Elvis, Black Adam. Yeah.
You mean no? No.
All right, guys. So we just finished up our top 5. We are now introducing the new weekly segment that's lasting 5 weeks called "Pardon the Pandemic." We're reintroducing all of the local sponsors to everybody out there who's listening, and kind of just letting them reintroduce the business to all the listeners, and we'll kind of go through some questions and just kind of have fun. So joining us right now is Andrew from CDR Electronics. Andrew, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem, man. It's been a long time coming. We kind of kicked it off right off the bat when I introduced myself to you. Real big movie buff, man. Tell people and kind of explain what kind of like got you started being like the movie buff that you are.
Yeah, so I do have 2 stores here in Oklahoma City, CDR Electronics. I have another store in El Paso called Media Exchange. But this is my second company. Our last company was called Entertain Mart. It was me and my brothers. We got up to about 12 stores. But I grew up. My uncle was pretty much a serial entrepreneur. He started a few companies that some people might have heard of. He started CD Warehouse back in the early 90s.
Yep.
So kind of the buy-sell trade concept before it became big. He did franchise that, got up to about 200 stores, sold it, and then he started a place called Movie Trading Company. And that was basically the same concept, except instead of CDs, he graduated to VHS and movies. Back when they were starting to blow up. That's really what got me passionate about movies. Is I helped him. I was still a little young, but loved working in the stores as much as I could, taking home all the movies, watching them.
So in other words, kind of like Randy from Scream.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That is a good reference. I remember actually when it came out, I was working in the store, so
nice.
it was fun to watch those old screens. But when he sold that, he actually sold it to Blockbuster. Kind of retired, and then we got into business together with Entertain Mart, and that really combined all of everything. So music, movies, and we started adding games, gaming consoles, and then kind of sold that company, and we've had CDR for over 10 years now, I think like 11 or 12, and we took over electronics. We still have DVDs, although it's kind of phasing out, which is of course a little sad to think about because that was my passion, and have a lot of good memories of talking about movies to customers, and it's kind of fun to think about.
Man, you know what's real sad is like it saddens me because I'm like, man, if DVDs are now, is Blu-ray next? Do you guys? This is kind of off topic, and I don't think I sent you this question, but do you see like Blu-ray sales for you? Are they kind of like good to where you can keep them, or are they off the wall to where you're like, man, I'm kind of not hitting in the Blu-ray business no more?
Yeah, it really happened in the last 2 years. I think the pandemic really got people to start accepting all the type of different streaming. So 3 years ago, all DVDs, Blu-rays, box sets, they were still quite the moneymakers. And, we actually just made this decision last month to stop buying in DVDs and Blu-rays.
Oh no.
So we still have them. We just started getting overcrowded with DVDs and Blu-rays, and they really just stopped selling.
And almost kind of the same, not same path, but almost kind of the same choice of business to start my life. And I started working at an FYE like when I was like 16, and man, it was just like the dream job for me.
Yep.
But Craig sent a question in, and he had a quick question about any plans to grow more in state or in other states, and you just said that you have a store or a few stores out of state. What about the CDR name itself? Do you have any plans on maybe putting up a new store in a certain location, or are you happy with the one on Northwest Expressway and then the one on I-240?
Yeah, I'm very happy with the 2 stores in Oklahoma City. The Northwest Expressway, it did take a little time to take off. Whereas Southside, it just came right out of the gate, just on fire. But now that it's profitable and we got the customer base, I'm really happy with that size and that location, even though there's a random bridge being built in front of my store.
Yeah.
So our next kind of store, my brother and I own together. We really like El Paso, and it's a really big city. 19th biggest city in the country. You got Juarez right across. You got one of the biggest military bases in the country. You have UTEP. So that will probably be our next store. We're kind of looking in within the next 6 months. But we're also discussing, Oklahoma City is a big city, but it's kind of a small city, if that makes sense, and to where I don't know if a third location is actually necessary, because people are okay with, because they're on different sides of the city.
Right.
But we're really interested in like a Lawton. The military bases have been great in the past for our stores. We love the clientele. They're all about buying and selling. So I do like the concept of a Lawton location within a year. Our last company, we actually expanded too fast, and one day we looked up, we had 12 stores. We didn't know the staff anymore as well as we used to. And it just kind of got a little out of hand. We started, operations started fading a little bit, and, we just weren't proud of it as much as we were with just a few locations. So, we haven't opened a new location since Northwest Expressway because, we didn't have our stuff together yet. We weren't the best that we could be, and we knew it. So we slowed down, but I think we're at a good point of looking for 1 or 2 stores in the next year.
Me as a consumer, I think those 2 locations are quick. They're good locations.
Yeah, great locations.
And if you live on the south side, it takes you 10 minutes to get to the north side one. If you live on the north side, it takes you 10 minutes to get to the one on I-240. So, and I don't know what the building was before you guys got there on the south side location, but knowing that you're in on the Expressway store, knowing that used to be like a Sound Warehouse or Blockbuster Music or FYE before
Right.
you guys got there, like there's so much just physical media history in that building, and I think it's cool that you guys took it over.
Yeah, it took a lot of interior work, because apparently, FYE never made one improvement on the inside of their stores.
They did.
I mean, they still had the carpet, the 1980s carpet.
Yep. I don't know if you've been to another retail store on the south side, right there on 240, but it's the same thing on the inside. Like they never took care of any of the carpet, same tile from the 80s. It was a mess. But
Yep.
you already mentioned how the pandemic affected your Blu-ray sales. But what about how did the pandemic affect you, like maybe personally or in other ways professionally? Like, did you guys have to shut down for just a little bit when it first started, or how did it affect you in more than one way?
Yeah, so we all shut down. We did have to close our doors for a month, which really hurt. I didn't ever think we would get to that point. So that was really disconcerting. I mean, this is my future. I wasn't confident that we would get any of the basically any money or help from the government. All we were told is maybe, but for now you have to shut your doors. So we, on the timing of what it took place was actually pretty good for us because tax season is our busiest season every year, and the pandemic really started at the end of tax season, so it didn't hurt or affect our tax season sales.
Nice.
And so May is kind of April, May is kind of a slow month in general. So shut down. And then when we opened a month later, we sold every single console in all three stores on the first day that we were open.
Wow.
Dang.
all of our electronics, all of our iPads, all of our phones. I mean, people came in and we started rushing. I got on like WhatsApp with all these vendors across the entire country and world, and immediately was like, hey, I understand inflation. Like, I know prices are going up. I'm having to pay more to get in product. But for a while, nobody was selling any of their stuff because they were getting stimuluses, and everybody needed electronics because laptops. Now that everybody's doing school online and virtually and
Yep.
meetings and working from home, I mean, we suddenly our electronics just blew up. Everybody wanted a game console.
People had to find some stuff to do during that time. So, Andrew, I think you're on the same level as us. As we're all movie buffs. We love film. Is there, or are there some movies that were, whether they're personally to you, you love those films, or are they big influences? Whether you start the business or you just like to, Friday night I want to watch this or whatever.
Yeah, there were a couple movies that really kind of impacted me. That's kind of what you're asking, right? You kind of fading out a little bit.
Yeah, just basically what movies like inspired you, and like what films do you hold near to you?
Yeah, I would say my favorite movie of all time is Collateral. I'm a huge Tom Cruise fan, but
very good movie.
I really liked that movie, and I know he's a killer, he's an assassin, but his philosophy in life, he really took every day, like it's worth living. Like I just loved everything he said in that movie. Is in the taxi scene where talking to Jamie Foxx, just saying, man, you were never going to do it anyways. All it takes is just a down payment on a leaking town car, and that girl, you're never going to call that girl. It's kind of the concept of all talk, no show. Like sometimes it just takes that first step.
Yeah.
But, that's hard to do.
Yeah,
and most people don't do it.
Yeah, when they start talking about like philosophy about like life and like who are you to judge me when you're not even doing nothing with yours. Both actors do give incredible performances.
Yep, and I'm a huge Michael Mann fan. Love him as a director. Another movie, probably my second favorite. I know this is not normal to have two of these movies as my favorites because I've seen almost all movies, but I love Lord of War, and it's the same kind of idea. Is just how he talks. He talks so bluntly, so matter of factly that it's kind of like refreshing to hear. Like somebody just speak that, that belief.
Yeah, Nicolas Cage. I think that is one guy who is just underrated as an actor, and I think he can. I wanted to go see his newest movie in theaters, but I didn't. Where he plays himself, I didn't get to go check that out though.
Yeah, that wasn't that big of a release.
Yeah.
But I too have been wanting to see that. It looks awesome. I mean, he's one of my favorite actors as well. I mean, talk about the list of just impressive movies that he's been in.
So I saw that you went and saw Top Gun, and I love your post about it. Man, how different and how awesome was that movie? Where did you get to go check it out at? Did you check it out on the biggest screen possible, or?
I checked out for the first time Flicks, a place off the highway that you can eat and drink.
Yeah,
Flicks
Well,
Brewhouse,
the,
yeah.
the screen was incredible. The sound was incredible. I was very happy with that theater and that entire experience. And it was sold out. So
nice.
I loved, and obviously we've seen the numbers of, of just the success it's had. So I think this movie really, really opened the theaters to get. Personally, I know a lot of people that was the first movie that they've seen in a theater since the pandemic, like that movie.
Yeah, yeah, it's doing huge numbers. It did huge numbers for us as well. What about what we're talking about today? Did you get a chance to go see Jurassic World Dominion?
I didn't. No.
There's a lot. We won't spoil anything, but there's a lot of mixed reviews. So I just got to say, if you do go see it, man, hopefully you check it out in the same atmosphere that you went and saw Top Gun in.
Of course. Yeah. I mean, it was one of the best cinematography and sound editing I have ever seen. It was just amazing. Every part of it. Obviously, the action was top notch, just like every Tom Cruise movie.
Yes.
I know it took him many years to make. So obviously, the success he's having, he deserves every bit of it. And everybody they worked with, from the writers, the directors, even the extras on the set, and they all deserve just a round of applause on how good they did.
So last question before you get out of here, I wanted to just ask, what are some future like goal oriented stuff that you want to do, whether it's CDR related or outside of the business related? Do you have like a 5-year plan that you personally want to, whether it's like maybe something different with movies or just something goal oriented that you want to maybe try to focus on in the next few years?
Yeah, I'm in this group called EO. It's Entrepreneurs Organization. It's a global organization with chapters in almost every big city. So Oklahoma City's got a really good chapter, probably about 58 members. And I joined about 3 years ago, and it really started making me passionate towards talking to business owners. Something that I didn't used to do. I didn't know, I was either intimidated or I just didn't know where they were, or didn't know if they wanted to talk. But the more I'm doing this, the more I'm really enjoying kind of mentoring, teaching, and just learning about every other company, no matter what it is. So I do see me getting really involved in that organization, as well as helping be a part of startups. So there's one that I'm kind of working on with the auto industry, and because I've always known the buy-sell industry. And I know some car dealerships are having a tough time buying cars that they're out there. So that is one thing that I'm pursuing. And I don't know if you're familiar. I also do cartoons with a friend of mine. It's called Lifted Larson.
Nice.
I don't know if you ever grew up with Gary Larson and Farside.
Not that I can remember, but I do remember you telling me about the cartoons.
Yeah, so it's a big passion of mine. I love making people laugh, even if it's just a smirk. So I'm going to keep doing that as well. You know, maybe put out a book, kind of like Gary Larson and Farside.
Nice. Nice, man. Well, yeah, it's real glad to have you on here, man. I think one day maybe we can we have a bonus episodes that we also do on Thursdays. I think it would be good to get you on visually, and we can display you and us on YouTube, and maybe talk about a full length movie one day. And I thank you really, not only a place to call like another home for us to talk about movies and to send people, and but I want to say thank you for coming on and just having that camaraderie in general with where we can send people and talk about movies.
Yeah, because
Yeah, I did notice. Yeah, it was definitely my pleasure. I appreciate you having me. But I did notice one of your questions. You know, are there any films that you're looking forward to being released, at least in the next at least year and a half?
Yeah. So
What are you looking forward to?
we just got done talking about our top fives. On my list, I have Nope, Halloween, I Want to Dance with Somebody, Avatar, and Killer of the Flower Moon.
Mm-hmm.
So what about you? Are there any movies?
I just had three that I'm kind of looking forward to. I have no idea about Elvis, but I think it's going to be good. That comes out next week?
Yeah.
Elvis?
Yeah, the 24th, I believe. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the 23rd, 24th. Yeah.
fairly close.
And then I do. I've liked. Love the last Thor. Thor is. I really just like his movies. I like the throwback, theme. And then I'm a huge Mission Impossible fan. So whenever those, I think it's for next summer or something, but those are my number one to see in theaters.
Nice.
And I just know that 7 and 8 are just going to just crush because they get better every year. I don't even think it's possible. Like every Mission Impossible is better
They
than the
do.
last.
Yeah, and next
I don't even know how he does it.
Yeah, and next year we're actually going to be talking a lot about Tom Cruise leading up to the new Mission Impossible movie. We're going to throw it all on the line. We're even going to have a top 10 list of our top 5 plus 5 Tom Cruise movies next summer when that movie comes out. So maybe something you can jump on and tell us all about your top 10 Tom Cruise movies.
Oh, that'd be perfect. Yes, I own all his movies and just I'm a huge fan.
Zach and I, we kind of said that Tom Cruise is the last real movie star. Do you agree with that?
I do. I could not name another actor that has not put out a bad movie. Like, he has some movies that weren't incredible, but I would not say any of his movies are bad. Whereas, even Will Smith, who was in the same category for, a decade, then he just started putting out bad, straight to Netflix movies, and I don't see Tom Cruise ever doing a straight to Netflix movie, or he doesn't believe in it.
No, and
he won't ever do a role that is just not exciting.
Well, and I think, he believes so much in Top Gun Maverick that he refused to let it go to streaming. So he said this is a movie theater experience, and we all agree with that.
Well, and now, I mean, his movies take him 3 or 4 years to make. So whereas all these actors are putting out all these movies, maybe one a year, because now that he's the executive producer. You know, he helps write. He has every part of every movie. You know, he's done at least for the past 5 to 8 years. Yeah, he's just not going to put out anything bad ever.
The one thing that really kind of holds him above a lot of people is his stunt work, for that matter. You know, I mean, name another actor or actress that would have actually gone out and been like, you know what, I'm going to learn how to fly an F-18. Or, you know, I'm going to learn how to do a double backflip on a bike or something. You know, I mean, something different like that.
He puts a lot of effort.
Especially actors of his age. I mean, if I'm a young actor, I'm looking at him now, and I'm like, man, I should look into, doing my own stunts and, not settling for every role, being really particular on what I choose, because, one bad movie could really tarnish your whole career.
And I'm sure he probably opened Miles Teller's eyes up to that world, because Miles Teller, don't get me wrong, like, Tom Cruise, the star of that movie, but Miles Teller, he was racing up there with him, for that matter, in my opinion.
Yeah, you can already tell with him and Whiplash is how much he puts into some of his roles, and it's very similar to what Tom Cruise would put into his roles too.
Right.
It's that level of just hardcoreness of putting it all on the line.
Yeah, and I think, hopefully some of them learn from him. Like, yeah, you can do movies over a green screen, and with today's technology, it'll look good, but going that extra mile and actually learning how to do something and actually putting stuff that is authentic and real on film, there's nothing like it.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. Again, thank you for just the relationship that this podcast has with your company. You tuning people into us, and then us tuning people into you. Again, if you guys want to visit any of Andrew's stores, south side is 1604 West I-240 Service Road. North side is 5939 Northwest Expressway, right here in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. They're open 7 days a week. So you guys follow us, you see how much girth we have when it comes to physical media. So do yourself a favor and go over there and check them out. They have it all for movies, laptops, games, consoles, TVs, anything that you guys want to get you going through the day, they have it. And Andrew, I hope that this helps a lot of people, and I'm sure we'll definitely have you on again one day. It was real fun. Hopefully one day soon. And you know what? Maybe your one of your places is maybe one day we can host a live podcast right there in one of your stores one day.
Yeah, that'd be fun. Thank you.
So, other than that, man, I think that's going to be it. And if you have any questions, you guys can also email and find CDR on the internet as well, right? www.cdrokc.com.
Yeah, and we're big into social media. We buy and sell, so we buy a ton of product. We pay more than everybody else. But yeah, if you're ever looking to see what we have, our prices or buyback prices, yeah, just go on social media or our website.
All right. And that's it, guys. We're going to get ready to talk Jurassic World Dominion. Next week, Kate Jones from Chicken House, local artist, director, writer, actress, is going to join us right here on next week's edition of Pardon the Pandemic. All right, guys. Today we are finally going back to the theaters, and we are talking Jurassic World Dominion. Currently at IMDb, it's 6 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes at 30%. The Metascore is at 37%, and Edward and the Google users have it at 84%.
Hey!
Starring Chris Pratt, Bryce Dallas Howard, Laura Dern, Sam Neill, Jeff Goldblum. Directed by Colin Trevorrow. With a budget of $185 million. So far, this opening weekend, it has grossed a little over $390 million at the box office. Yeah.
Enough said.
4 years after the deconstruction of Issa Nublar, dinosaurs now live and hunt alongside humans all over the world. This fragile balance will reshape the future and determine once and for all whether human beings are to remain the apex predator on a planet that now share with history's most fearsome creatures in a new era.
The rebuild of what?
The rebuild will remain as apex predators.
That building just sounded weird. Like Nisa Nublar.
Oh, Nisa Nublar.
Just weird.
So yeah, I believe, Zach, we talked about the director on the Fallen Kingdom episode, but for the guys who were not available with us this past Thursday, name off again some of the movies that he's done. Colin Trevor tomorrow.
He doesn't have a big filmography. He kind of got like his start with Jurassic World in 2015. He did a little short independent film called Safety Not Guaranteed in 2012, which got his quote unquote directorial debut. But he did The Book of Henry, and then he was a writer on Rise of Skywalker, and now Jurassic World Dominion. So,
Edward, first, we've all seen this movie just one time, so first original thoughts when the movie was over?
I liked it.
I'm going to say disappointing. Craig?
Yeah, disappointed.
Zach?
Disappointed.
All right.
Did you watch the movie?
Yeah.
Okay.
Craig, I'll let you start. Opening. I think the opening had some promise, and then it kind of seems like when you have this opening, and first off, Fallen Kingdom, that's a whole nother horrible topic of discussion. You guys can go back and listen to our bonus episode wherever you listen to podcasts at. But Zach, we talked about it on Thursday. Let's talk this for a minute, because for the past 4 weeks we've talked Lost World, Jurassic Park 3, Jurassic World, Fallen Kingdom, and now Dominion, and it seems like it just is like a roller coaster. It is all downhill from after 3.
Yeah.
And I kind of enjoyed Jurassic World, not gonna lie. It was a fun concept.
The original was good.
Of a reshaping of the original. Fallen Kingdom took a twist, nosedive first. This one, it just took a complete ass backward dive. It's a crash. You introduce human cloning in Fallen Kingdom, and then you're like, okay, maybe they're gonna reshape it for Dominion. You know what? They couldn't end with this. They won't end with this. Spoiler alert, if you have not seen Dominion, we are an hour and 6 minutes into this episode. Go back to the movie theater, check it out. It's in theaters. Come back. Or listen to, some of us rant about it and decide for yourself if you want to go spend the money on it. I just think it completely dropped the ball from start to finish. I think the movie did not, and this is just my little two-minute rant, then Zach will go to you, we'll go to Craig, so on and so forth. I think it just completely dropped the ball. With the pacing issue, for a 2 hour and 20-minute movie, boy, did it sure feel like it was 3 hours. You have the legacy characters, which were reintroduced. I didn't mind the way they were reintroduced. I thought that was a little bit of breath of fresh air. And then you just get the tarnishment of the way the story just starts with Owen and Claire and Macy, and then you got
Blue.
You got vultures coming in for the velociraptors. You got vultures coming in for the little girl because she's a mutant. And I'm like, boy, did they want to do a crossover. They sure did. Because if you want to sit there and completely just take a left turn with this franchise like the way they do the Fast and Furious franchise or the Saw franchise or anything that's been going a little way too long, they did that with Jurassic World Dominion.
It's like they tried to be something too original, but it just did not work.
And then, I thought this movie was supposed to be mainly about Jurassic World and them living amongst us, but it felt like, hey, we messed up with huge giant locusts. let's return back the test of time and take the DNA. This turned into a slow DNA film about giant locusts and little girls.
Yeah.
Zach, what about you?
It's like she's the key to all of these mess ups, but yet in the end, we're still going to have to live with dinosaurs. They didn't address the reason of the film of living with dinosaurs. Like, it's just all it is a 2-hour movie about finding the little girl because she's the key to curing these locusts who are eating up all the fields because a big, huge name company, ooh, surprise, dude looks like Tim Cook, comes out and
Engine
makes locusts that are eating up all the crops. Like, it's a movie about dinosaurs, and it wasn't about dinosaurs.
And Zach, is this the same Dotson that was in the beginning? The first. This is Dotson. We've got Dotson here.
This guy actually played the Peter Parker's father,
I don't
Richard
care
Parker,
what he played.
Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2. If you ever kind of think you noticed maybe who he was, just saying.
Zach, you're the. I'll put you on the spot. We're driving the bus here. You're a huge Jurassic Park fan. It was a great idea, and I love the way that we introduced the bonus episodes back to do the On the Road to Dominion. Great idea. Enjoyed the episodes. But how, as a Jurassic Park fan, this is your franchise the way Ed is obsessed with Potter, Craig's Star Wars and MCU. How do you feel after watching that movie? Like, you were so hyped. This was your number one movie on your list in January, and you look like you just got done, coming back from a redheaded stepchild beating.
It was... Craig, do you remember how you feel after you walked out of Last Jedi? Just pure disappointment.
I was confused.
That's how in my notes, the first 3 things I said was disappointed, depressed, boring. This is a movie about dinosaurs. Well, quote unquote. The dinosaur parts, they were boring.
They felt like they were in the way of the story that they were trying to tell.
Yeah, it's almost like
the story.
Like you guys said. Plot 1 is the locusts and the biosyn. Why are we bringing insects into this? It makes no freaking sense. And then plot 2 is Owen and Claire trying to get Macy and Blue's baby back, Beta, or Delta.
To be clear, the actual locust was a Cretaceous period locust.
Well, I don't care, dude. It's
was
supposed
a dinosaur,
to be.
technically.
You don't go to Jurassic Park about insects.
See fucking grasshoppers.
You want to see dinosaurs.
I mean, true, yes, but at the same time, like, what is so much different about this one than
There's
2
no-
or 3 of Jurassic Park?
There's no magic. There's no. There's no inspiration. There's no like.
Because I mean, don't get me wrong. If you told me Fallen Kingdom, I'd be like, dude,
at least Fallen Kingdom.
Unnecessary.
At least Fallen Kingdom has that first hour where you're like, oh, okay, are they going to get off the volcanic island? At least that was entertaining.
This one, I mean, don't get me wrong. You say that they didn't actually accomplish whatever story that they were trying. At the end,
Yeah,
I mean,
they
it was
accomplished the
wrapped.
story.
But
it didn't deal with that. It
did.
It dealt with prehistoric grasshoppers, dog.
No, it didn't actually wrap the story at the end.
It didn't wrap the story.
It didn't wrap the story up. We're talking Jurassic World. It didn't wrap it up. We're talking Jurassic World Dominion, and at the end of the movie, you still have dinosaurs living amongst humans, but it wasn't. You didn't get a final, or you didn't even get a payoff at the end.
No,
This
movie should have ended with either the extinction of the dinosaurs,
exactly,
or the extinction of the human race.
With the little girl giving her DNA to completely eradicate all dinosaurs.
Yes,
that were brought in from the original Jurassic Park,
because
or they flat out do live together.
Because if you're starting a new trilogy dubbed Jurassic World, and the end all goal is for Jurassic
World to happen.
Yeah.
It's past the park, it's past the island, it's all over the world. And as human beings...
And if you're coming out saying that you're going to get a conclusion to this story, there's no conclusion to the story at all.
That plot synopsis is not even accurate. It's like that's like 30% of the movie.
It's the trailers.
Yeah.
That's what they told you in the
Yeah.
trailers, and then they come out and they're like, "Psych,
Well,
we
those
got Tim Cook coming out here."
well, those were spoiler-free synopsis, so I didn't want to spoil everything completely.
But I mean, like you said, Craig, in the trailer where the Chris Pratt is riding on horseback in like the Montana like plains with the riding the dinosaurs. Like that's cool.
Yes.
The dinosaurs running on the plains with horses. It's like that's what I wanted to see.
Yes.
The last shot of the film where the elephants and the triceratops
Yes.
that's the movie I want.
And you do get that, but it has nothing to do with the movie.
No.
It's just cinematography.
But I
shot.
mean, still at the same end, you got the Thesaurus with the Gigantosaurus with T-Rex versus Gigantosaurus.
yeah.
You got the whole story of Blue and Beta for that matter.
Or as I dubbed Thug Big Bird.
Yeah,
you had a Godzilla fight. What do you do?
I'm not saying that cured it.
The fight was literally in the way of them getting in a helicopter to leave. That's all the fight was.
Same thing
They
with
were like,
all three of these movies.
They don't want us. We're here for Tim Cook, and we're trying to leave. And they're just fighting because we're in between them. Dude, this movie was so choppy. You would get 30 seconds of one plan, then they would hop to another.
Yeah.
They would do.
The editing's really
They would
bad
do
in this.
Chris.
I mean,
They
same
would
thing
do Chris
with
Pratt and then go to Legacy. Chris Pratt, Legacy, and then go off to some other weird Tim Cook shit. Come back to Chris Pratt, Legacy, and it was like,
it's
dude,
the same thing with the T-Rex and Velociraptors
there
in
was
Jurassic Park
literally
original.
no continuous storytelling in this where it kept my interest.
They should have called it
It
Jurassic
was
World
continuous
Tim Cook.
storytelling.
No, it
but
was
just
Jurassic
didn't
World dog
continue.
shit.
When you said that, inside baseball, we all three of us went to Dead Center, and I asked you how the movie was. You said, "Oh, dude, I'll let you figure that out."
Yeah, people left our theater.
People were walking up in the middle of the showing, and I'm like, "Oh, it's time for refreshments." We're about 45 an hour into the movie. Those people that left, I could count maybe 8, never came back to their seat.
And I looked at my phone and I was like, dude, it's only 10:30. This movie started at 9:45. It was the longest first hour of a movie that I can remember. And me and Johnny looked at each other and we just kept shaking our heads. When Chris Pratt grabbed the fucking thing with the things that come out and then they punched it, I looked at Johnny and I was like, dude, I'm done with this movie at this point. Like, there's no way they're just going to grab a dinosaur and ooh,
if Newman from Seinfeld did that in the original Jurassic Park, he would have been able to steal all the DNA he wanted, and then Dotson help me here. Dotson did it.
That was the only cool Easter egg that they brought back, that little canister. I don't know how they found it, but
I thought that was a pretty cool thing.
The canister was cool.
Yeah. Other than that, I mean,
I legit.
The Carnotaurs, the new.
Oh, you mean
Ghosts and Tigers,
you mean when Chris Pratt held out his hand and was stopping him?
That was getting annoying.
Dude,
I've done this.
That was probably one of the few parts that was getting annoying.
That was supposed to work with the Raptors. Now he can do that with any dinosaur. What?
Because they're wrong. He watched Star Wars. He was using the Force.
Oh god.
And then the little girl comes out and does it, and
trick.
they're like, "Bro, look at her. She knows the way." Like, no, you can't just. They are carnivorous animals who have no sense other than I'm hungry, I'm eat. This is my territory.
How about we'll kind of go back a little bit to the original or the beginning, because I don't think the original. And this is all of you guys out there again. Everybody who went out and enjoyed this movie, hats off to you. You have a different aspect of film. You look at things a little differently. You eat, smell. You do things differently. So if you enjoyed this movie, by all means,
enjoy it.
Yeah, enjoy it. More power to you. But I think just talking about it as a legacy fan, seeing the original 2, maybe you can even put 3 in there. This movie, and me and you and Nick talked about it the last 2 movies. Nothing felt memorable.
No.
Nothing was memorable in this movie.
No.
The legacy characters were done completely wrong. They make Jeff Goldblum stand out to look like a complete idiosaurus.
Well, he was just like, I got Thor: Love and Thunder here in a couple weeks. I'm good.
He was just, the way his dialogue was written for him almost made it over the top Jeff Goldblum, like they did it on purpose.
Well,
everything
like he was in the apartment commercials.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Everything that he did in the original 2 was
very scientific douchebag.
Exactly.
I don't think any of the performance. Truthfully, I thought Chris Pratt just melted in. I'm gonna be honest, dude.
I mean, don't
Like,
wrong. The lecture wasn't scientific douchebag.
No, it felt overproduced.
Yeah,
They were like, "Oh, Jeff."
It was, but it wasn't done correctly.
Jeff.
it didn't seem natural.
Let me put it to you this way: Jeff Goldblum was up doing Jeff Goldblum stuff. He wasn't doing Ian Malcolm stuff.
Yes.
Big difference. When you have an actor that is overly produced, because he's now his own guy. The actor himself is so popular and so over the top that the writers were just like, just be yourself. Don't be Ian Malcolm. Be Jeff Goldblum. And it completely changed the whole tone of his character.
Yeah,
you go back and watch the original movie and Lost World, completely different character.
where he's acting to be somebody else,
Yes.
not
Yeah.
acting to be what people perceive him now.
And if
I
the
agree.
people don't, and if you can't understand that going into this movie and watching Jeff Goldblum, you don't understand acting. I highly, highly say that. This character completely just shit the movie, shit the bed, and the entire.
It felt like everybody went into this movie for a paycheck and just to end the series.
I think I think Bryce Dallas Howard, Claire, I like her more in this one than the last two.
That's the only reason I stayed.
Yeah. But I mean, like, and people are going to listen to this and say, well, you just had the original film in mind or whatever. It's just like, no, I didn't watch the original film going in. I want it to be its own thing. And like on the outset, after the whole world news footage of the dinosaurs like taking control and not taking control, but just like running rampant, I was just like, okay. And then you get, which I will say, the more use of animatronic dinosaurs in this, I thought was cool. Honestly, they kind of go on back to basics and whatever.
I mean, the cave dinosaurs kind of look.
They look bad.
Well, no. Some of them look bad, but I appreciate the notion of them trying to do practical effects.
Yeah. I was gonna say the reason they probably use practicals because the CGI raptors in the beginning of the movie looked like shit,
dude. When we get to that Malta scene and those new raptors come out, I was like, those look terrible.
Yeah, when you see Blue just racing through the forest, getting ready to attack, yeah, it doesn't. It looks like it's.
What about when Claire uses a pole to clothesline a raptor in the middle of the chase? What do you guys think about that?
Go ahead, Ed.
So you're telling me I don't know the accurate weight, but a 1-ton dinosaur,
probably about 500 pounds,
cannot run through
probably about 2-inch steel pole.
It's not a 2-inch steel pole, bro. It was like a stop sign pole.
Now, hold on. Now we're kind of going a little bit hypocritical. So to answer Zach's question, we are going in watching a dinosaur movie.
Right.
So when you're trying to tell me if it looks real or not, again, I understand that we're going in to see a dinosaur movie, and I understand that it is, it's action, it's campy, it's supposed to be over the top, right? It's a Jurassic Park movie. But when you get the story just completely 360 from what especially if you're bringing legacy characters and legacy moments into this new movie.
Dude, I'm surprised they even did it. I'm going to be honest.
And in my opinion, the only real way to pay them off is to have them just show up for a little bit. Don't completely bring them in and make them like a completely different storyline and then meet at the apex.
And you had a chance. You had a really good chance of killing off one of these characters.
And you know what?
They didn't do it.
I was going to say Universal wanted their crossover between Fast and Furious and Jurassic
Park. You got
it
now.
You got it with how shitty this was.
Like, there are so many people saying
scene?
With the pterodactyl.
Yeah. The ADS is down. The air defense system. They can attack our planes because we don't have an ADS.
Don't get me wrong. If they can engineer, this is literally a movie about bringing dinosaurs back with freaking frog. Literally, she's spliced with monitor. She's spliced with monitor lizard DNA, so that's why she can go ahead and actually create a offspring by herself because they can reproduce asexually. Okay, but at the same time, you're upset that an ADS system that can go ahead and repel wildlife is in effect, but at the same time, you're not saying anything about the biosyn that made the locusts have a literal taste simply just for other crops other than biosyn.
Oh,
You know.
we're not complaining that there's giant a Bug's Life in this
I'm
movie.
not saying you're complaining, but I'm saying like
The bugs
you're
picked the
accepting
food.
that.
I told Johnny that we were leaving. I was like, it's just fucking Hopper.
You know, use the Locust in a more important role. Show them actually tear some people up. Show them actually attack some of the smaller dinosaurs.
They did a little bit, but don't
Just that one scene.
don't
Well,
don't
not only
make-
that, but around the world, they were showing that these were going to
Well,
go create
but
a literal, you know.
in the final movie, you bring in legacy characters to simply pretty much give them the only reason they brought in legacy characters
To sell tickets.
was so that Jeff Goldblum could give them access to Biosyn,
Yeah.
so that they could get inside.
It's a plot convenience.
It's-
That's all it is.
Absolutely, because without Jeff Goldblum, there's no access to Biosyn in their eyes.
Zach had a vein popping out of his head. Zach, what were you going to say about the locusts with Edward?
Okay. So
Go ahead, dude. What's up?
no, okay, so like people are criticizing this movie because of the science and the practical. I don't care. You go back to that original film. You know, scientists have already come out and said, "Look, you can't get amber from the mosquito." I don't care.
DNA from a mosquito
Right.
and amber.
It works. That first film works just because it doesn't over explain it. It gives a backstory.
It didn't over-explain it. It literally took you through a little ride that explained every part of their process, basically.
It is
as well as they
magical,
shown you the
though.
But
cracking of the eggs.
That's the word. You don't think about it. You're just like, okay. And this one is just like, who cares about locusts? Who cares about Biosyn? Who cares about crops?
Hold up. They don't take a whole movie to explain the DNA. In this movie, from the start of the locust to the end, when the little Asian guy who
Henry Wu.
who goes and lets the locust be free, it takes an hour and 45 minutes in this one to tell you about the DNA and what Macy can do and what Macy
He's
can't
like,
do.
with that little girl's DNA, I can give it to one locust, and he can fet all the locusts, and they'll no longer eat the crops that Biosyn was attacking because we're a multi-billion-dollar corporation.
And did you notice that they retcon Macy's whole thing of like, well, Lockwood created a clone of his daughter that was killed. No. In this one, it's the mother. Basically, she
gave birth without having sex.
She produced asexually, and she genetically engineered her to not have that.
Well, where's the
problem.
fun in that?
Real quick, Horizon Zero Dawn, PS5 video game. This whole movie is based pretty much on what that does. A girl is born from a clone of somebody who was around before they decided to completely bomb the world and rebuild humanity with her DNA. She has access to all of the secret layers and everything, and there's robotic dinosaurs running around. Like, it is literally carbon copy from this video game.
That sounds more entertaining.
It's a damn good video game. I'll put it that way. More entertaining than what this was.
Okay, Ed, I know we're bitching and complaining. Like, what did you like about the movie? What'd you like?
Literally, it seems like whatever y'all didn't like is what I did. I mean, don't get me wrong. It didn't need to be the movie that gone ahead and just like. It seems like anything I say, y'all are gonna shit on, so it doesn't really fucking matter. It really doesn't
You
matter.
didn't like No Country, so.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, don't get me wrong. That's gonna follow me for the rest of whatever time that's gonna follow me for.
No, seriously, Ed, go. Just go. What did you like about the movie? Go.
I just want to say, like, you may like it, yes, but in my viewing, I was aggravated that the movie felt jumpy. I was aggravated that I felt like there was no real plot. They introduced the legacy characters for no real reason other than to gain access into Biosyn, whereas they could have done like a little 10-minute thing where Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard met them and they were like, oh, this, and then Jeff Goldblum was like, that is a big issue. I have access to Biosyn. Here's how you get in. 10-minute clip, if you can do all of that while introducing legacy characters instead of creating two separate storylines, trying to fit it into 2.5 hours, and not really telling a story for either side.
And those two sets of characters don't even meet to the climax of the movie.
So pretty much what Craig is considering this to, or not considering this to, but comparing this to, is Godzilla versus King Kong. basically you had two sides of the same story that coincide and don't really tell a huge story for that.
But that is Team Iron Man versus Team Captain America and the meeting at the end. This is, hey, I met you at this dig site and we're gonna go meet Jeff Goldblum because we're best friends.
That's the same shit.
No, it's not.
That's the same shit. Oh, we're gonna go get Ant-Man and meet up with Captain America so he can beat the shit out of Iron Man.
Not what I'm saying.
And then he's got Spider-Man over here.
I'm saying original side has Iron Man, original side has Captain America, and they meet up because there's algae in the river. What do they have to do with algae in the river?
Same shit. This is literally the same shit.
Exactly.
As Civil War.
Nobody wants to see Iron Man and Captain America meet up to beat algae in the river. Like, that is basically what this movie is. They have no real point to this movie other than to get a little girl who has DNA to affect locusts because Biosyn wanted to destroy crops because they're a hungry billion-dollar company. Yeah. Like, you're getting two big groups who have their own set of movies, and then you're meeting up to say, we need this girl's DNA.
Lion King Part 2?
You can enjoy it all you want, but that's what it is.
But apparently I'm fucking wrong and a bad person for enjoying it.
You can enjoy it, but the simplicity of the movie...
Because I don't understand acting. The magic wasn't there, and then the simplicity of the story was a piece of shit. Exactly. Like, that's literally what all three of you had said now.
Welcome to the Cine-Men Movie Podcast.
Glad to have you on.
Lady Gaga in talks to play Harley Quinn.
This dude, oh my god.
Harley Quinn in the Joker 2.
Really?
So just fuck Margot Robbie.
Just released by IGN. Wow. Lady Gaga and Joaquin Phoenix. They got me.
Oh, a whole different thing. Okay.
Nice.
She's a whole different universe then.
So some of the scenes that I like that I thought were just a little too lengthy but were still kind of cool were maybe, and I felt like a lot of the scenes that were cool were rehashings of 1 and 2. Like in the scene where Ellie, or not Ellie, but Laura Dern's character Ellie had to turn the electricity back on. It just felt like, I was waiting.
I was a callback.
I was waiting for Ian Malcolm to say, "Hold on to your butts." You even have the
one scene when they're trying to get up the tower. Basically, they have the turning of the vehicle, a turned over vehicle.
Oh yeah,
the exact same thing.
And then they were in the thing from like Lost World Part 2, the hide.
Mm-hmm.
It felt like they were in something like that.
Yeah.
I felt like they just kept trying to do too much. Maybe.
I mean, even with the little callback of the electricity.
And I didn't say you didn't understand acting.
No.
I said if anybody who enjoyed Jeff Goldblum's character in this movie really didn't understand any acting.
No. With the what was it? Ramsey's gone ahead and saying talking about the fences from the original part. Do you know how talking to Alan Grant, who is literally on them voltage, and all that? Yeah. Like, do you know how many voltage? Like, bro, yeah, he was literally there with it. Literally right there. You probably were still shitting in your diaper. I mean, they're wrong. Like, what did you guys think, even though that they even brought back a nerdy, overweight white guy with glasses?
That was a slap in the face.
Right?
I was like, really? Like, you get someone that looks like Wayne Knight as Dennis Nedry. It's just like, why not just call him Dennis Nedry? For God's sake.
Nobody cares.
The guy who played Dotson, was that the same actor who was in the original?
No.
No? Okay. Because he just... If I can say one thing, one of the true poor things about this movie and the movies that followed before was just the casting of the bad guy, the overly snotty billionaire. And you can go all the way back to The Lost World.
Yeah.
The guy who was
it was the nephew of John Hammond, yeah.
Going all the way back to that movie, it's like we spend so much money probably in the dinosaurs, in the CGI.
And the thing about Richard Attenborough's character in the first movie, John Hammond, is that you want to root for him because he is genuinely caring about this park.
It's
He
more-
wants it to succeed, and you want it to succeed.
It's more you feel bad for the guy because his literal dream, as well as spared no expenses, gone down in flames
Yeah.
because of one guy being an ass about getting DNA samples, and giving them to a different company.
And Ed, I'm not saying you don't understand the magic of the original film. That's not what I meant at all. I'm just saying that the first Jurassic Park, and I'll even put the first Jurassic World in there. There was all inspiring moments in there.
Yeah, 100%.
And this it doesn't have the heart that those two films have.
I feel exactly okay. So literally, I feel like these three films, okay, Jurassic World, continue, as well as Jurassic Park through Lost World, and Jurassic 3 and all that. Okay, they're mirrors. Literally, it's a mirror facing a mirror. Literally.
The first one's good, the second one's okay, and the third one sucks.
Not only that, not really that, but the first one's a park. The second one, they're introduced into the city, and the third one, there's just kind.
Then you got family.
Well, not really. I mean, the second one,
they're kind of mirrors of each other.
Not really, because the second one is all about taking the dinosaurs and making a Jurassic World park. The second one, you only get the T-Rex and the baby T-Rex in the city by some dumb mistake from the multi-billionaire who accidentally brings them to the city. But I feel like where Lost World was good, the Jurassic World movies turned to the backside and just made it worse.
Well, that scene in the Lost World where the T-Rex is loose in the city, that's what this movie should have been.
Yeah.
I mean, truthfully, I know a lot of people have problems with that, the Lost World, but that sequence where it's loose in San Diego, that's what this movie should have been entirely.
Dealing with dinosaurs absolutely terrorizing humanity.
I've got to ask.
And they tease it at the end of Fallen Kingdom. They tease it at the end of Fallen Kingdom.
Do you guys remember, Craig, I don't know if you've seen it. It's on YouTube if you want to watch it. The prologue we saw before Fast 9, it was like the prehistoric times, and then it's the dinosaur at the drive-in theater, or the T-Rex at the drive-in theater. That was supposed to be the opening of the movie. And then it kind of sets up the rivalry between the Gigantosaurus and the T-Rex. But they cut that out. It's like that opening, that little 10-minute opening, honestly probably would have saved the movie. I don't know if it would have saved it completely, but at least it would have gave it like a good opening.
Let me ask you this. The fight between the Gigantosaurus and the T-Rex at the end, where they're already inside like the
Dolomite Mountains.
Well, not inside there, but the little
it's
arena
like
or whatever where the end fight happens, okay?
Yeah.
When she got knocked, or when whoever got knocked over, did you think, dead?
If they had killed off the T-Rex, I would have. No.
I mean, don't wrong. Let me ask you this: did you? Okay, so literally, and I know this is kind of dumb because I'm going way back, and this is kind of like you can't really follow it fully. But did you feel like if the T-Rex or any one of the T-Rexes were still part of the original trilogy? Because Rexy supposed the original T-Rex from the banner falling on her. Do you think that she is still somewhere because of supposedly? That was her running through the park after Claire with the flare.
Yeah, that was the original T-Rex. Yeah.
What do you think this T-Rex was, or just a random? Was it the tiny baby T-Rex in the second one, or
no? I think
because they brought legacy characters and new characters.
I think let me interject for this. I think that's where they started messing up. You shouldn't have to label what a dinosaur is or which one it looks like. Oh, nope, that's baby T-Rex, that's blue, that's green, and we got big pink over here. They should just be fucking dinosaurs.
Big Bird,
yeah.
That's a Tyrannosaurus Rex. No, that's an Osteosaurus.
Yeah. No,
they were
that's Jimbo.
They were trying to one-up each other.
We named him.
The Gigantosaurus, I thought that was like a made-up thing for this movie. No, that's a real dinosaur that existed. But it just... Even the fight between the T-Rex, the Gigantosaurus, and Thug Big Bird with the long nails, the claws.
Thyzerosaurus, if I'm not mistaken.
Leading into that,
Freddy Cougarsaurus.
When the chick has a helicopter, and she's like, "I'm landing inside," and he's like, "No, don't land inside. That's where all the dinosaurs are." And she's like, "Whoa! Like you didn't see these giant ass dinosaurs in here chilling?"
Would this movie be better if Keanu Reeves was in it? He could just do his acting from Bill and Ted.
Well, it's like, but like honestly, like
I know.
she's flying in to pick them up, and they're like, "No, don't land inside. That's where all the dinosaurs are because they brought them in due to the fire." And she's like, "Oh my god, I didn't see them."
Oh, and that's another thing. When the locusts catch on fire and they escape, and you think the whole place is going to burn down, it's like, okay, so
Visually,
they're gonna let all the dinosaurs got to escape. That's another way to get. No, they're fine.
visually it looks pretty cool.
Yeah, the whole locust burn.
When they caught fire. I thought
Yeah.
it was pretty
It's
cool.
like looked like the Mummy or something.
I would have liked to see Ellie dissect one of those things. You know how she's so deep in like digging and shit and just being all gross and stuff, touching the animals, touching the tongue of a triceratops or whatever they're called.
Triceratops.
I think it would have been really, really cool to see her dissect one of those big locust things.
Well,
30 minutes.
I mean, Henry Wu, they did show him that he had.
But
them.
I didn't want to see Henry Wu do it. Woo! I
I'm
wanted
just
to
saying.
see Ellie do it. She's a legacy character. Even though he is, she is
She
more
would have been
important.
like, "Well, I can't do it. I need a knife." And they'd have been like 30 seconds over here, show a couple more dinosaurs over there. They come back. She's like, "Got a knife." Then it goes back over here.
Oh, bro.
She starts to cut it, and then it goes to Jeff Goldblum in the cave. I don't know, somewhere.
Jeff Goldblum laying on his side with his shirt half button, and then they even freaking what was it? They have the half button shirt, and she's like, no, and he buttons it back up, like, dang.
Even it's so meta that there's dialogue where Grant is talking to Owen and Claire's just, oh, you ran Jurassic World, and they cut to Ian Malcolm's like, I'm not a fan. Like, what? Like, it's like that meta.
I think we could do like a short film here that would be a little better.
They did. I mean,
Did you watch it?
the short film that Friday the 14th did over on their YouTube channel, Drastically Fast. I think it's really entertaining and it makes more sense.
Oh my god.
Okay, how about the scene where Jeff Goldblum is trying to get Sam Neill and them out of the cave, and he's like sitting there trying to type in the numbers. I remember the password, and he's just sitting
What
there.
was ultimately the password? Was it 1993? Was that the password?
I don't know the other guy.
I think it was like 5619 or something like that.
We got
'Cause
2319.
If it was 1993, I mean, that's the
That would have been pretty
It
cool.
looked like 1997-ish because he went like
yeah.
up top left, bottom right.
But that would have been cool. The passcode is like the release of the original film.
But
What'd you guys think of Justice Smith in this movie?
Nope.
The little piece of.
you didn't like him?
Nope.
I didn't really feel him.
I
that
hated
much.
his character in the last film.
Okay, you guys don't like the character, but I'm talking about that he did his Born Identity shit to get the background info for Owen and Claire.
Another plot convenience.
Yes.
And that the CIA has created a field for division for dangerous animals.
Guys, if I get fired, I'm gonna be able to go nowhere else. Currently works at the CIA.
Which-
like, come on, dude.
Which we did in the last two bonus episodes. We do praise on how Jurassic World and Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom were trying to be more real with like, hey, the military is trying to take these dinosaurs. They want to use some of these as military weapons. And the second one, same thing. But then it feels like the whole franchise shifted when you introduced Macy as the mutant.
She wasn't a mutant. Okay, in the second one she was a clone, but in the third she was a natural born, just modified.
Affinity.
You know what I mean? I ain't doing wrong. So all the dinosaurs are mutants.
Yeah.
Okay.
She was
Okay,
born
that's
But
fair then.
I'm
with
here
simple
to
genetics.
watch mutant looking dinosaurs, not mutant clone kids. We're gonna talk about Attack of the Clones in a few weeks on June 30th. Not now, not during Dominion.
I mean, to be fair, the one raptor on the frozen lake was apparently the most real looking. Or no,
The
that one.
the
and-
Pyroraptor, yeah.
yeah, and then the one that came around the corner and had all the fur on. Oh crap! I forget.
Yeah, Thug Big Bird, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Those two were apparently the most realistic looking dinosaurs in the entire movie.
What's the one that shoots out like a?
The poison, the Dilophosaurus, which I will say, like, bringing that one back,
And those
being
were
like-
those were actual physical, like,
the animatronics,
And-
yeah.
But they used them exactly like they use them in the originals.
Yeah, because he gets taken out the way
Yeah.
Nedry does, yeah. Which I thought that was cool, but
But why didn't he just grab them by the throat and punch them? Just like
Well, I mean-
Because he's not as badass as Owen Grady, dude.
because Tim Cook's got to die in this
You're
movie.
gonna scare me. Ugh.
He did just force choke the hell out of one of those dinosaurs.
Like, come on, dude. Like, you kick him in the head or something. Like, psh. Then he's like, oh, on the ground. Then you run away. But no,
Did
they
he not?
straight up grabbed him by the
He grabs him by
Okay.
the
In
throat.
in his left hand, I thought he went in the hand that he used to punch. I thought he had the prod or the cattle prod or whatever, because that was
The rod.
They probably
The
did,
fraud.
they probably did shock him.
Yeah.
You know,
But
that's-
it's the
yeah.
fact that he grabbed the dinosaur by the throat, dog.
people grab anacondas. I mean, don't wrong.
Yeah,
Jennifer Lopez
because
did
this
not
is the
grab no
croc-
anaconda.
This is the croc hunter of the dinosaur
Because
world.
an anaconda, if you grab it by its throat, all it can do is wrap at that point. It can't attack you. It can't jump at you. He literally grabs something by the throat that can shoot venom.
Close off the glands, bro.
Hold on, we do have an email that I want to read off right quick.
Is it mine?
No,
Because I have much more to say.
before I dig deeper in.
Is there anything else to talk about this?
Henry said, I really do think the main reason the throat was grabbed by Owen to the, whatever it's called, I can't read the Dilophosaurus,
Dilophosaurus.
Yeah.
was to cut off flow of the poison coming out of the neck.
All right, look.
But still, you're throat grabbing a dinosaur.
Kick him in the head, just like psh, he's out of the way. But you're grabbing him by the throat, dog. It's a dinosaur. Like, I'm surprised you didn't just stand in front of him and say, "Hold on now."
I will say that the act of watching this movie wasn't enjoyable, but talking about it is. I will say.
Because I'm gonna talk trash about all the stupid things people put in movies. We did it about Marvel. We did it about Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker.
I ain't doing wrong. Did you feel good about the Dilophosaurus getting their due again in the Hyperloop?
There
That-
were things I enjoyed.
All three of those.
There were,
guys.
yeah,
But as a movie, I did not like it.
yes, I concur.
This is coming from the Jurassic Park connoisseur.
Yes,
The Jurassic Park Infinata, which I think that's a Mexican dish. by the way.
Empanada.
Yeah.
I'm
aficionado.
hungry too, Johnny.
Hey, I'm thinking about the Mexican restaurant from the beginning, where you find out where Dotson is Dotson. Don't get cheap on me, Dotson. That line should have been made in this movie.
Well,
From
hell,
Ian Malcolm.
you've done so many callbacks. I mean, why not?
Johnny, let's be real. We had a better time watching Chicken House than we did this. Johnny cut it off. I'm going to explain why I said that. Because somebody who has the means of what maybe she had, she didn't have millions and millions of dollars in making a blockbuster film,
In
but
the
it was
interview,
still
she said
enjoyable.
she made it off of peanuts, is the exact word she used in the interview for that
Right.
matter.
So just because you produce some multi-million-dollar film doesn't mean it's going to be enjoyable for people. You can sit there with a camera in front of 5 of your friends and make a film that's more enjoyable than what these people did.
You
with
know what
millions
the
and millions
difference
of
is
dollars.
between the two films? Chicken House had
Effort.
passion in it.
Yes, exactly.
There was a reason behind the
Jurassic
film.
World
Is a
1,
cash grab.
2, and 3 has no passion in it.
So, you know, I to me, in my opinion, that is the highest compliment you can give somebody, and not even just hers, but the short films that we watched, all of those small-time directors.
I will say a
There's-
few of them definitely
There's
were.
an idea to a film. There's passion in the film, and you can directly see the result of it.
Because, I mean, it felt I will kind of agree with a bit of the Ian Malcolm, versus, say, Tim Travers for that matter. It like, maybe the science was off just because they're talking about, but time travel. But at the same time, it's kind of like maybe the science is off because they're talking about DNA splicing with dinosaurs. But at the same time, it was kind of fun hearing the whole lecture throughout the entire time of Tim Travers or Sam Dunning as Tim Travers. And I mean, it wasn't that it wasn't nice to hear Ian Malcolm, Jeff Goldblum explain his theories, but yeah,
It's just my point is I don't care if a movie has all the accolades and everything made for it to be a great film and it has the name Jurassic World. If there's no passion behind the film, you can see it.
Yeah.
And that's what this movie was. I was
Yeah.
bored to death in my chair watching this film.
Yeah.
So
And I really wanted to come on here and say, look, it's not great, but I had fun watching it. That just didn't happen. I was just bored out of my mind with it.
I told Johnny, like, if we didn't drive 20 minutes and gas wasn't $6 a gallon,
You would have left.
you know, if I was by myself, I probably would have left.
Yeah.
The guy beside us did.
And it's depressing. The thing that hurts me the most is that if this is, which I know it won't be, but if this is like the conclusion of all this, it's terrible.
It's on track to make $800 million. I don't see, unless it takes a really bad deep dive week 2 and 3.
It will, because Lightyear comes out and people are still talking about Maverick.
Lightyear,
Like Mosasaurus.
So I mean, it did have an impressive opening with worldwide. It almost grossed $400 million.
Yeah, well, Top Gun made $300 million, and it was a 10 times better movie, and it had a lot more passion in it.
So
there were moments where I was like, God, I wish I was watching Top Gun.
If you guys want to know, and send in your thoughts on Jurassic World Dominion, by all means, send us in some star ratings, some favorite scenes. Send us in your top 5 movies that you're still looking forward to of 2022. And Ed, we'll start with you. Do you have a favorite scene or two you want to name?
Honestly, kind of, and I know y'all are saying it's cash grab, which yeah, it is. But I thought the reunion of Alan and Ellie, for that matter, was nice. You know, as well as just like most of the scenes that are in, I'm not going to say park, but I guess
the facility.
Thank you. That's a great word, actually. Thank you. I liked most of them. I mean, honestly, I guess I'm the solo runner here, but I liked this film quite a bit. So,
Craig, do you have any favorite scenes you want to name, or
the credits?
God,
Zach, do you have any favorite?
I mean, it's a movie about dinosaurs. Of course, there's going to be cool scenes with the dinosaurs and everything, but I'm not there to just see single shot scenes of dinosaurs. I'm there for a story as well.
Every time Chris Pratt put his hand up was my favorite.
Another thing you got to mention is looking back to the other films. You also have to remember who directed the original. Steven Spielberg directing the original movie. You look at the movies he's done, like Jaws, E.T.'s, Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Those movies, you see hardly any of the alien or the dinosaur or the shark. He introduces characters to you, and he makes you A, he tells a good story, and B, he has good character development. So,
and he does a great job of holding the monster when it's time to show it.
Right. Life finds a way, and with him being as big of an executive producer as he is in this movie, I think that's the only thing that I really had a huge complaint about was, you know, when the dinosaurs were on the scene in Jurassic Park or Lost World, it was special. Now it's like
there was a presence.
There's a presence. Now it's almost like now you do have to compare it to a Kong versus Godzilla because it is a cash grab multi-million-dollar franchise that people want to see dinosaurs 24/7.
Yeah,
what I'm getting at to here is
but Godzilla versus Kong was a lot funner than this.
Right, but what I'm getting to with this movie is, you know, you cared about the characters in the first movie and the actors, and because it was a good storytelling film. In this movie, you don't really get that. You don't really care that much about the characters because it's just overshadowed by poor storytelling.
Yeah.
So
I think it was just literally that they were kind of meshed up and they just poor storytelling.
Well, 100%. If they took the same approach that Tom Cruise took to Top Gun, and they said, "Look,
making Velociraptors flying F-18s.
I am not making this movie unless I think the script is good."
Yeah.
Instead of, "Oh, you want to reintroduce us for our final come around because we did a movie 30 years ago? Sure, we'll be a part of it." No, like there's one person said, "I'm not doing it unless it's worth it," and the other people were just like, "Yeah, I'll do it."
Yeah, but you also have to look at the characters the actors like Jeff Goldblum, Sam Neill, Laura Dern. Are they really getting? They're not getting the amounts of paychecks like Tom Cruise is per movie.
Right, but you can at least.
This could. I don't know him personally. Let's get it.
Well, you do. I mean, you just don't want to tell us.
But this could be their last big fat movie check for the rest of their careers. So at the end of the day, do you think they really did care about the script or the passion?
No.
No. Because they realize that they're in their 60s, they're on their way out the door.
This was their big ticket back in the day.
This was their last hoorah before it's probably off to the retirement home.
And that's sad.
It sucks that just somebody didn't have more willingness to actually put more thought into the story. Maybe the director thought this was a great story. I mean, people do like it, but I just think that there should have been a little bit more thought into it.
Did you guys get applause at the end?
No.
I did, and people loved it. I was just like, stop it.
There was a few people that did start clapping.
There was
fine.
Johnny.
Zach reminds me of Sheldon right now.
There was one girl who was like, "Woo!"
And she realized she was making a
She
mistake.
was like, nobody else is clapping. So, again, I'm not a director. We're not directors. We
No.
don't know how hard this stuff is, but I can definitely tell when there just isn't passion in the movie.
You know, this is a question we may be able to ask Kate Jones next week. I mean, honestly,
Write it down. You can answer it next week,
Yeah.
or you can ask it next week.
Yeah.
I do want to say, I do feel like we are completely harping on this movie. Don't get me wrong. I love action movies. Okay. I enjoyed the latest Fast movie. I enjoyed Hobbs and Shaw, but this just was not it for me. And you know what? You know my dumbass is gonna buy it. You know I'm gonna put it next. I'm gonna put it on the shelf. Maybe a rewatch. I could maybe have a different tone, but we'll see. Zach, favorite scenes?
Honestly, anything that when we get the actual what the plot of this movie was supposed to be, with dinosaurs just running amok and just kind of unbalancing the ecosystem, that's just what I wanted to see. Honestly,
Focus reference. Ed didn't get it.
I wanted to see the true nitty gritty dealing with dinosaurs in an everyday life,
exactly.
not dealing with
So, in other words, Jurassic Park plus Purge.
no.
It doesn't even have to be blood and guts.
Jurassic Park in the real world, like
The raptor goes to work. Top of the morning, Steve. How you doing today?
instead of the movie dealing with dinosaurs in the wild, it was a plot line with dinosaurs, with a plot line having to deal with dinosaurs in the wild.
Someone had the great analogy of Jurassic World Dominion handles dinosaurs like The Walking Dead treats the zombies now. They're just in the background. They're not even a threat
It's
anymore.
not a part of the show.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
If I had any favorite scenes, honestly, I liked being in the Dolby, hearing the attack of the first scene of the locusts. I thought that was tremendous.
The rumble in the
The
jet.
rumble was amazing. Seeing the locusts come up, I thought that was a very terrifying scene.
And then you had another 2 hours and 10 minutes to go.
We just didn't know that was the movie.
I enjoyed the scene where they do go up into the high hide, and then Chris Pratt's characters attack through the glass from the Indonesian Rex, or what is it called?
The Gigantosaurus. Yeah.
The Jackasentite. I thought that was a pretty fun scene. When the Freddy Krueger dinosaur kills the giant Rex at the end of the movie.
Wolverine style.
Wolverine style.
Stegosaurus.
I thought that was pretty cool.
And it even kind of looked down into its claws like, did this just happen?
Like Edward
okay.
Scissorhands, like, oh, I didn't mean to kill somebody.
But the T-Rex literally knocks it into the claws.
Okay, Zach, I really want to know, and this is just some fantasy booking, what would you have done if they gotten one of these things to speak?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Me, Amy.
Was there not a part in the movie?
What was this? What was the scene that you guys were talking about? Like, you laughed when it wasn't supposed to be funny. What was that scene?
Dinosaur
Oh, that.
down
Oh.
the throat.
We laughed, and the
We
guy
laughed
next to
at
us.
Me and my coworker went and saw it, and she liked it more than me. And
You went with your coworker, huh?
No.
Oh.
We both had the opinion of, we really thought that it got to the point where Macy was going to start talking to Blue, and then it was going to be a full-on conversation. I'd be like, oh, man, like, fuck it. Like, we're already past.
Tripping on LSD.
Dinosaur comes out and he's like, family.
Yeah.
Vin Diesel comes
Shows
out.
up on screen with Corona.
I mean, it's possible.
Big
It's
Sexy
possible.
comes
Fast
in.
11. Coming your way. Fast X, whatever they call it.
Man.
But no, for real. Other than I did enjoy the scene where the T-Rex reigns supremes. The ending cinematography of
The shots of
the
all
shots
the
of the
dinosaurs.
dinosaurs
Yeah.
living amongst us. Again,
But again, that's what I wanted.
yeah, that's what it was. I thought it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
Even the posters, the teaser trailers, they all teased that. I think
Did you-
honestly, that's what probably upset me a little bit more. Was they were teasing this thing to be something that it absolutely wasn't.
Did you guys notice that they never even showed the title of the movie? Even in the trailer, it just had the emblem. It never said Jurassic World Dominion until like the end credits.
What'd you think of the T-Rex walking through the little oval shaped thing, and it made it look like it was the emblem?
I thought that was a nice little callback.
Did you like it, Zach?
Sure.
And I mean, don't wrong. If I'm not mistaken, the waterfall scene
That was
kind
from
of connected
Lost
to.
World. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I nodded off a few times. I forgot to mention that.
You did. No, you did. I was gonna, honestly, I was gonna edge you, or nudge you and wake up, but I was like, you know what? This is my opportunity to also get some Z's.
Like, and I'm not saying we sat there and slept through a bunch of it,
We're no, obviously not. We're arguing the case.
but it's like, dude, there was nothing keeping my attention.
We're like,
because-
hey, do you guys remember that scene where?
Okay, so ultimate question: is this better or worse than Jurassic Park 3? Because that's
worse.
this is worse than
This is
Jurassic Park
worse
3.
than Park for me.
I'd have to rewatch 3.
Zach, did you have the Jurassic Park movies ranked in your system?
I do. Jurassic Park, obviously the first. I'm gonna go.
No. We'll do it later.
Okay.
We'll do it right before emails.
Oh,
Ed, star rating.
I'm gonna go with a 7.
Craig, star rating.
I had more fun watching Daredevil, and I gave Daredevil a 4, so this is a 3 for me.
Oh shit!
Man.
Edward and the Google user.
I didn't know what his rating was going to be either, which is funny. I think just because of how massive, how just of a massive disappointment this movie is, unfortunately.
He's not gonna rate it.
Even the legacy characters, the dinosaurs, and I didn't even get that famous John Williams score till lonely towards the end of the movie.
It was like a note.
And just on pure rewatchability, some movies I'll sit through and like, this wasn't very good, but I think it would be good on the next watch. I don't even have
The urge
to do a rewatch with this movie. And it just, like Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, it was a complete, there was no memory whatsoever. And if we can put going into the actual me reviewing this movie and giving it my star rating, the pacing was absolutely atrocious for me. For a 2 hour and 20-minute movie, it felt like it was 3 hours. The Locust story was just not interesting. The movie is supposed to be mainly about dinosaurs and not a little girl and her DNA and the Locust's DNA. And at the end of the day, it just wasn't memorable. There was no heart, and it didn't feel like a Jurassic movie. So that being said, I'm giving this a 4. Zach, what are you giving this?
My heart and soul.
I really should be the most angry out of all of us about this. It's fine. I mean, this is a bad movie, truthfully.
It's atrocious.
And like I said, I didn't have much expectation going into this. I just wanted it to be fun, and it wasn't fun. It was just boring.
You said that in the bonus episode too. You're like, yeah, you were. That's your number one thing. You're like, I don't want a good movie. I want a fun Jurassic movie.
Yeah.
And you didn't even get that.
No. I'll give it a 5. It'll probably go down lower because, like you said, Johnny, I think I will give this movie another chance. I will rewatch it, but if it doesn't, it just in my brain, if it doesn't get better on the rewatch, then yeah, it's
Add it to the pile of Last Jedi and
yeah.
So
Doctor Strange.
So
is this worse than Doctor Strange?
no, I had more fun with Doctor Strange.
On the Fallen Kingdom episode, you guys heard me, Zach, and Nick talk about how we would rank our movies throughout the past few weeks that we've been talking about the Jurassic movies. So, Zach, I'll go first if you want. Number 6 for me is going to be Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. Number 6 for me is going to be Jurassic World Dominion. Number 5 is going to be Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. Number 4 is going to be Jurassic Park 3. Number 3 is going to be Jurassic World. Number 2 is The Lost World Jurassic Park. Number 1 is Jurassic Park. What about you?
I'm gonna do. I had Jurassic Park 3 as 6, but I mean, at least that one was about dinosaurs, so I'm gonna raise that one up. Last one, number 6 is Dominion. 5 is 3. 4 is Fallen Kingdom. 3 is The Lost World. 2 is Jurassic World, and number 1 is Jurassic Park.
And again, if you guys want to play along, send us in your top 6 Jurassic Park movies, and send us in your favorite your favorite scenes or star rating for this movie. CINEMEN921 at gmail.com. And next week's top 5, guys, it should be fun. Nobody's heard it yet. I don't think. Did I?
We talked about it.
I didn't send it out in the emails. Next week's top 5 is going to be our top 5 favorite Netflix original movies.
Yeah.
So with us talking about Hustle next week with Adam Sandler and it being an exclusively streamed Netflix movie, send us in your top 5 Netflix original movies.
Blippi.
Mail time.
Ooh, the mail's here. That means we get to see our old friend, Mailbox.
Like I said, guys, send us in some star ratings. We talked Goodfellas last week. Hustle next week. It's already out on Netflix to stream. Jurassic World Dominion this week. The very last episode of the month, we're going to talk Spawn. So send us in those star ratings.
I have to ask my mom for permission for that.
And I think
Get the VHS.
I think it'll be fun. So send us in all kinds of emails, whether it's good mail, hate mail, bad mail. You want one of us to jump off a bridge or walk into an oncoming bus? We've had those too. So
Hey!
send us in.
I feel like 3 of us are going to get those emails next week.
Or one of us.
Jared says Jurassic World Dominion was a complete waste and a terrible way to end what used to feel like a storied franchise. Now don't even waste your money. 4 stars.
0-1. Owen.
Barry says Jurassic World was just like how Zach says. It's fine. Feels like a Fast and Furious franchise making them just now to make money. 5 stars.
0-2.
Eric says Goodfellas was a fun rewatch. I loved it. I do things a little bit different. I listen to your episode, then I decide and go rewatch the film or watch the film for the first time. Even though some stuff is spoiled, honestly, it's so much better that way. I see things I didn't think I would see before listening to you guys.
Hey, there you go.
Interesting. There you go.
Goodfellas gets a 10 for me. Nathaniel says Jurassic World Dominion gets 5 stars. I can't wait to hear y'all's thoughts on this piece of shit. I'd rather watch the first 1 and 2 and be done.
And I'm not telling you you're wrong. But
And that's something I did want to bring up. I totally forgot. You know, whether it be with Star Wars or, you know, whatever it is, you as a viewer, you can make that choice. You can watch the first Jurassic Park and be done. You can watch the original trilogy and be done. You don't have to watch the prequels, the sequels, or whatever.
yeah, you don't have to watch everything that's put out.
No.
Oh, Terrence, this is good. Terrence says, Zach,
Oh,
with
God.
a film like Goodfellas,
There we go. I
What-
knew it was coming.
what makes a difference between a 9 and 10 for you? I just don't understand. How can it not be a 10? What is so different about a movie that you have to just go one letter down to a 9 or number down to a 9?
I mean, see, I knew this was gonna happen. It's just the rewatchability for me. I mean, I understand it's a great film, and I said it on the podcast. I thought it was a very good film. It's not one that I want to go back and rewatch. You know.
So, rewatchability aside, one-time watch only, are you giving it a 10?
Yeah. Yeah. What?
Case closed. There we go. Next question.
That's how I do my recent watches too, or that's how I do my star grades.
I should have gave it. I gave it a 9, but I should have gave it a 10 because
Don't fall into peer pressure now.
no. That's one thing I like about this podcast. Like I don't want one of us to come on
But,
next
like,
week and be like, you know what, Jurassic
But
World.
one thing about all of us we can agree is that one of the things we look for in a film is rewatchability.
Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but the peer pressure on this one is that you take your real opinion.
Well-
like right now, I'm not peer pressured by you for not liking the movie. I still like the movie. I'm cool with this. So it is.
Look
what
at
it is.
those veins popping out of
I know.
those thighs.
I mean, but like when I gave Jurassic World Dominion a 3, I was like, this is my one-time watch.
Yeah.
Like There is no rewatchability. I don't want to watch this again.
And even though we're only heard by just a few 4, 5, 6,000 people
Loyal.
every week.
We appreciate you.
But no, what I was gonna say is one thing that I can say that we all agree on in here is it doesn't matter if it's Letterkenny, Star Wars, Doctor Strange, Jurassic Park, Goodfellas, The Godfather. Whatever we do watch and whatever we do put our conversation into, we're passionate about it.
Yeah,
and I think that's all you can get from a podcast, and I'm glad we can all say that. Coco Chris says Obi-Wan was completely shit right now. I can't believe it sucks this much ass. I'm not impressed.
Oh my god.
Well, I think, Johnny, we said it. Episode 3 is kind of really the only episode that I would ever want to rewatch at this point.
Kendall says, hey guys, do yourself a favor and go see Top Gun again. Jurassic World Dominion was a complete shit show. 4 stars.
Ed, did you watch this movie? It's an honest question at this point.
1:30 Sunday, Midwest City, Warren. Yes.
High or not high?
Negative. I don't get high.
You
no
probably
matter
should have been.
what you say.
Philip says, I love the fact that you guys are doing this series where you interview your sponsors as a local business owner. This is a fantastic idea. Can't wait to hear the next one.
Local business, you say?
Uh-oh.
What kind of business you own there? What kind of business? Lawrence says, my favorite all-time Ray Liotta movie is Goodfellas. 10 stars. Can't go wrong. No, Ed, you got one. Jessica says, Ed's ramble of Nev Campbell's scream last week gave me a complete headache. Is he okay?
Oh god.
just our classic soundboard.
I hope that's not directed towards me next week.
Uh-oh.
I went off on this.
Hey, it is what it is. I'm sorry I gave you a headache.
So what did you say about her?
I don't even remember what you said about that.
At the moment, there's been so much.
Go back and
between
listen.
then and
Check it
now.
out. If you guys want to hear Ed's rant on Nev Campbell, go check it out. Listen to Ed wherever you listen to podcasts.
Hey, you guys.
I mispressed a button. Sorry.
Kevin says, very disappointing conclusion in a franchise that was once very well respected. Good characters that are disgraced by a horrible story. 3 stars. Oh, this is funny. Aaron says, I can't wait for the review of Spawn. It's such an underrated cult classic. I've been listening to you guys since the Hook episode. I'm super stoked to hear your thoughts on good, bad, however they are on Spawn. Please knock it out of the park.
Dang, been listening since Hook, bro. That's a long time now.
And we have an unspoiled first-time watch with Spawn coming. So
I've never seen it either, so too.
Yeah. I think
this is the guy that introduced me to Spawn over here.
how many podcasts can come out and say they have 2 first-time? I mean, Spawn's pretty controversial in my opinion, from what I've heard. So
I think it's one of those that you're either going to love it or you hate it.
And it's currently on Netflix, right?
Yeah. Still on Netflix for right now.
All the queso, all of it.
All I know about Spawn is there's a fat clown in it because Johnny always told me about it.
Janice says, you guys got me on Friday the 14th, and now I watch every single Wednesday after I get home. I can't wait for the review of Saint Maud. Are you guys going to do another A24 month? I don't know about Friday the 14th, but I know we're doing a nice girthy A24 month in the month of August.
I was about to say, yeah, I'm pretty sure with this guy, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
There's been some A24 films coming out.
Means August. August
A24
August A24.
And 24 means 24/7.
That's what I'm talking about.
All month long.
Last one of the day, then we'll kind of get out of here. This episode's run a little bit long. Sarah97 says, amazing rewatch of Goodfellas, giving a 10. Amazing film. And just finished Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. I'm giving that movie a 6. I'll be watching the new one this Friday. Pretty excited.
Is there any email that liked Dominion?
Not yet.
This is all the reviews for Dominion have been negative while Top Gun's been positive. It's the complete opposite.
Well, I think there was a Top Gun email that was a 6 or 7. So far, Jurassic World Dominion, the highest has gotten a 5.
Yeah.
7.
Oh yeah, 7.
Hey,
And the Google users.
what's up, guys? How y'all doing?
They were at 84%.
Now we at 82.
Oh god.
Yeah, Zach, you wanna finish us off before we go into Hustle next week? Is there anything you want to add to the final nail in the coffin for Jurassic World?
It just. Ed, don't give me that look.
Go ahead and say it, Zach. We're sorry, Steven. We're sorry that these movies came out.
I know.
Steven Spielberg?
It's just- yeah.
He signed this shit off.
He didn't
He was an
direct them.
executive producer.
He didn't direct it though.
No, but he was an executive producer, meaning that
But
he
that's like
gave
saying-
his stamp on this shit.
But that's like saying Episode 8 is George Lucas's fault.
I mean, don't get me wrong. He did what he did, so he was
Ed,
like, "All right, what y'all
I'm
do
not-
is what y'all do."
I'm not criticizing you for liking the movie. That's
I know,
more
no,
that's
I know.
more power to you. I'm glad you liked it more than us. It's just depressing being a Jurassic Park fan that this is how we're going to end this.
Let's put all things aside. Zach, you're not just a fan. You got Jurassic Park bed sheets.
Dude.
You're a loyal.
He walks around like a T-Rex.
Hell yeah.
You're a loyal Jurassic Park fan. So I mean,
Alan Grant taught you how to talk to raptors back in the day, man.
Now you just hold your hand up.
Yeah.
Force choked the damn Dilophosaurus.
So, but other than that, I told you to hold off on your review of Hustlers during recent watch. Next week, you excited?
Yeah, it'll be a fun conversation.
Next week, Hustlers. Craig, what about you? Do you have anything else you want to add to Jurassic World Dominion?
I just hope next week's better.
Next week, Hustle, June 20th.
Just be better. That's all we ask.
Ed, what about you? You got anything you want to add before we get out of here? Hustle next week, Adam Sandler, the man.
It's cool to be, the lone runner. That's all right with me. I don't care. Hustle, never heard of it, never seen it. All I know is Adam Sandler, so it is what it is. Let's do it. And this is Ed saying I'll see you on the silver screen.
Next week, guys, we talk Hustle right here. We also have Kate joining us next week as we get to talk to her about her movie, her acting, her directing, all that. Plus, it's the Sandman. We get to talk an Adam Sandler film next week right here on the Cine-Men Movie Podcast.
And immediately paid his first Bloomingdale's bill. Right away they started on a family. 3 smart kids popped out of mom's tummy. But